Hello, this is Craig from bitbox.co.uk. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do a fire breathing effect for a Warhammer Dragon. You could use this effect for anything else. It could be like coming out of a flamer for a Space Marine, for example, or you could use it as magical flames, or even like frost sort of, some sort of frost magic effect. You know, anything. Let me just show you, he's very delicate, what we've got here. There'll be pictures later on, but yeah, this is what we are building in this tutorial. So this high elf dragon, I haven't finished painting the dragon, but he's getting there. He's sort of breathing fire and destroying this little mausoleum building. He's not glued into the actual flame. I've left him so he can be detached, so just make it easy for painting and transporting. But he sits in there. See, I'm not holding him there, he sits in there quite well. I just like to hold on to 2 hands just in case. But yeah, we'll show you how to make this fire in this tutorial, so sit back and enjoy. Okay, so here's our dragon. So you really want a suitable dragon for this, really. This high elf one is probably the best one in the GW range. I've cut the rocks off its feet. A bit of a messy job at the back, but I'll clean that up here. So then you can have him in any position you want. He can be going at any angle. And what's great about him as well, he already has a hole in his mouth. And that's going to be handy, because first thing we need is some brass rod. You could use plastic if it's strong enough, but you want something strong. Essentially, you've got a good width as well. But essentially, I get him on camera. You know, that holds him up quite well. What length? It's entirely up to you, really. I wouldn't go ridiculously high because that'll just look a bit silly, but this is quite a long piece. But we're gonna do what we need to do with it first before we trim it to size. It just makes it easier because then I can hold it at one end when I'm putting the fire on. And to do that is quite a messy job. You may have seen this technique before, but I'm gonna try it out myself. I'm going to take some clump foliage, and we're going to take some super glue. Now you can glue it on with other glues. Hot glue is probably not too bad. PVA is alright, but it just takes ages to dry, so this stage will just take forever. Super glue is the best. The only issue with super glue, that heats this stuff up. So if you get super glue on your fingers and get some of this stuff stuck to it, which I managed to do earlier today, so I've had a little practice with this already. Yeah, that gets really hot, and you need to get that off your fingers fast, because that will burn. But you can always wear gloves and whatnot. But this is a messy stage. But yeah, if you are a young person, maybe get your parents' help with this. But essentially, you want to put super glue down and just stick some clump foliage on there, like so. It's messy, like bits will fall off all over the place, so you really just got to build this up gradually. Now you want sort of like a cone shape. That's probably the best way to describe it. So that bit will probably need cutting off, but so narrow at the top and it sort of gets wider, especially towards the bottom. So here's one I made earlier, and this is sort of the shape I've gone for. Now this stuff is still, it's not too bad. Still a little bit, I get the odd little bit falling off now and then, but this is sort of a shape you ought to go for. That's in my opinion. Anyway, so if we take our dragon, we can stick that in its gob like that. And you can see, it looks pretty cool. Obviously, once we paint it up, that's going to look quite nice. But yeah, so what I've done here as well is I've gone all the way along, and then towards the bottom I've done another layer. So let the original layer dry. Now at that stage, using PVA glue is not too bad. You just have to be very careful. You have to sort of dip this stuff into the PVA glue and then stick it on, because if you try and brush it on, that will knock the clump foliage off. It's just very, I wouldn't say brittle is probably not the right word, but it just comes off quite easily. So painting that's going to be fun, but I'm hoping when we spray it, that'll just help lock it in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you can have wider flames, longer flames. But as you can see, I've left a bit at the bottom just so I can hold it when it comes to paint and whatnot. And you know, already you see how messy it is just with little bits of foliage. So the other thing you want as well is obviously a base. So I'm going to drill a hole in the base, and then this can be stuck through the base like so. And then we're going to add some really cool stuff on the base, and we'll have something maybe getting torched and breaking up and stuff. We'll see. I haven't 100% decided on that, but we'll just do as we go along. So yeah, so the next thing is to just drill a hole into this base. Obviously it's up to you wherever you want it. I'm just going to randomly just choose a spot here. I think I'm going to do a little pilot hole first. I mean, you might not even need the drill, to be honest. I could probably do this just with the knife, but I think speed up. Go through a drill, and then use the knife just to widen it to your desired width. And I'll use a spare piece that I started on earlier just to test it out. And be careful not to just stab yourself. So yeah, so now we've got a piece there. You can muck around with this hole to get it so you can put the thing in at an angle. So to do that, you can just sort of carve out on one side using your hobby knife, and then that should sit in there at an angle like that. Haha. So it's really up to you what you do at this stage, whether you glue it all in place or not. I'm probably thinking not, just for ease of filming and that. I'll just spray this as it is, and we'll get the base done and painted and that. So yeah, just quickly show you that. I'll obviously trim this down, but then that will sit in there like that. I mean, we could have it up a little bit maybe and have some stuff around the bottom that's getting flamed by the dragon, but we'll see. That's all going to be in the next part of this video. So I think first things first is to, and you can see that I'm just winging this. I'm really winging this. I don't know whether to spray that or make the base first. I think I'll probably spray that, and then we'll make the base, and then I'll put it all together, give the base a spray. I really want to show you guys how to paint this, how to paint the flames, but I'd like to show building the base as well. So I'm going to stop babbling, and we'll get into the part 2 of this video. Okay, so yeah, it's quite a transformation now. So what I've done is originally I just sprayed it black, just like Chaos Black. But then I thought I'll use my Army Painter coloured sprays. I have a yellow and a red, so this isn't the finished look by no means. So you can do it all by brush if you wish. So I've gone from yellow, then I've sprayed the bottom red. We need to have a transition of orange. So that'll be the next step. And then I'm going to add like other little effects. I'll brighten up the yellow at the top. And maybe dry brush on some like smoke effects. Because essentially this looks like a big sort of ball of sort of fire and smoke. As you can see, not all the way around is it like perfect. I've had to glue extra little bits on where they've come off, and I probably expect more bits to come off this. It's dried quite hard, but as you can see there's still the odd little bits that are a little bit flimsy. So we're mainly going to be dry brushing the other colours, and we've got to be very careful as we do this. As you can see, there's a little bit there already come off. This stuff is just terrible for that. So I'm going to get my brushes and that together, and then we'll start painting that up, and then we'll work out what to do with the base. I've just left it on this stick, just for ease when it comes to painting it. Okay, so I'm going to try and start building up the transition between the red and the yellow. I've got some Troll Slayer orange on my brush here, and I'm sort of going for like a heavy dry brush. I haven't really took too much of the paint off the brush, so you've got to be very gentle as you do this. My Troll Slayer orange is really dried up as well, so it does make it quite good for dry brushing at least. This bit underneath where it hasn't quite sprayed so well, we'll probably have that bit more out of view once we get onto the finished piece. But I'm not gonna paint what I can. This will be quite a long process doing all these colours, as we have to be so gentle with it, so just take your time and just gradually build up with the colour. So next up, I'm taking some Flash Gitz Yellow, and I'm just going around the top really. It's just slightly brighter than the spray yellow. We can also neaten up any little areas. You can also have little, actually get it in shot, that would be better. You can actually also do little areas, if you want, onto this red. Obviously the fire is going to be, it's not going to be like an even temperature throughout, so there'll be all manner of different colours. It's not always just a transition from yellow, orange to red, so you can really just be as random as you want with this. You could even have more red at the top if you wish. I might actually move the orange up a little bit in places, and once you start adding smoke and stuff, that will help sort of blend it in a bit as well. So I'm just going to take a little bit more like orange. I mean, so dried up this paint, so I apologise, but I'm just going to do some odd little spots. The way you sort of really could think of it as well, it's going to be hotter towards the middle. But I think as it expands out, it'll not be as hot as just sort of the centre of the flames. So you'd get these sort of light, some more orangey and red areas. But either way, as long as it sort of looks like fire, you can sort of give the illusion away. Of course, you don't even have to do it in these colours. You could have green fire, blue fire, just anything really. These are all magical dragons. So yeah, so next we can start adding some sort of smoke effects. So I'm going to start with, as I nudge the camera, I'm going to start with some Skaven Blight Dinge. It's quite a good sort of dark smoky colour, at least in my opinion. And I'm going to dry brush this. Again, sort of a heavy dry brush. And essentially, you certainly want to go more around the base. I might actually have to go even heavier. We don't seem to be having great coverage there. Again, another one of my paints which is not dried up, but I keep nudging this camera. I'm sorry, a really bad setup on this desk actually. Another paint will sort of dried up slightly, but not too bad. Yeah, just really sort of just add patches of it all over really. You don't have to go too much at the top, but certainly towards the bottom. Sort of imagine like just smoke billowing out of this. So again, it's just a case of being patient, slowly building it up. It's good to sort of go after the areas where the spray hasn't settled too much. As you can see, it's still bouncing around a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to finish doing this, and then we're back for one final step on painting the actual flames. So essentially we're now going to do pretty much the same thing, but this time I'm using Abaddon Black. Just add some really darker areas of smoke. Just going to slowly again just pat it on, very gentle. Again, focusing more around the base, but also doing the odd bits higher up. See another tiny little bit fall off. You just gotta be so careful. Of course you can super glue the bits back on if they are too much of an issue. Sort of lightly pattern the top. But that's essentially it for Fire as he tries to stand up. So we'll have a little shot of the dragon breathing the fire, and then you can see what you think. This is the first time I've ever tried this effect, so it's not perfect, but I hope you guys get the gist of it. There are other videos on YouTube doing a similar effect, and they probably pull it off slightly better than me, but I just want to give you guys a rough idea, and I want to try it out for myself. But there's still the case of doing the base, and I'm going to build up a little base and show that off on this video as well, because I think hopefully that'll look pretty cool too, and I haven't seen anyone do that sort of thing on YouTube, so yeah, let's have a little shot of the dragon breathing the fire, and then we'll move on to doing the base. Okay, so here he is. And I think that looks pretty convincing as fire. Again, I know it's not perfect. That's kind of pretty cool. I've got a couple of bottles on the end to weight the base down, because that's something we'll have to look into as we do the base. Making sure it's weighted on the other side. And I'll probably pop him up slightly bit more of an angle. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that. And if we have something being destroyed on the base, I think that's going to look pretty cool. So that is the next job for me. So I'm going to start playing around with the base, seeing what I can come up with. And then I'll show it off to you guys, so I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. So I've used a piece from the Garden of Moor terrain piece. So we've got the roof, this little mausoleum being blown off by the flames. I've added a couple more little bits where we'll have some other flames. Got a little skeleton. There, he's flying out of it. We assume that there's some undead just hanging around in there, and the dragon's flaming him. That turn around. So got a few bits coming off there, a little bit of rubble. Yeah, this bit is still detachable, the flame. So now I can just take it out, spray it. These little bits here, I'll just use a brush on primer and paint them. But yeah, the next job for me is to paint this base. I probably won't get the dragon painted by the end of the video, but I'll paint the base up and then we'll see what he looks like at the end. I'll give the dragon maybe a spray and maybe lay a base coat down. So yeah, I'll be back after I've done that. And here he is. Of course you see me just show him off at the beginning of the video very briefly, but now we can take a closer look, and I'll probably add some little photos at the end of this as well. I've just got a piece of cardboard just set up as a background so we can just focus on this guy a bit better. So the base is done, as is the fire. I might add a little bit more smoke, maybe it's a bit more black, but I quite like how it's looking. Then we have the dragon. I need to finish painting the dragon, and I will add a rider to him eventually. I've gone like sort of purple skin colour and scales, because he's going to be for my elves, and they're essentially sort of dark elves, but I use all manner of different elves, but I make them all look like dark elves. So yeah, I'm really happy. The dragon, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, he's not fully glued in. As you can see, he needs to sort of go in a bit further than that. I'm planning on just drilling out the hole a little bit more and really sticking that in there. And the aim is to just have him held up like that. I have counterweighted the base as well with a few coins just underneath. I'll just take the dragon out there. I'll show you that, just a couple of 10p's. Just weighting that down, that seems to work really well. So yeah, that is how you make a flame effect. I hope you enjoyed this. Of course, as I said at the beginning of the video, you could use this for flamers, any sort of magic effects. If you're doing something like that, what don't really require for it to hold the weight of the dragon, you can just use a little plastic tube in the middle rather than the brass rod that I've used. But essentially, the technique is still the same. This has dried really well as well. It's quite rock solid now. It moves about in some places, but most of it is dried quite hard, so that's good. You could add some sort of varnish maybe to harden up even further, or even just you could do some like PVA glue or something, but I would recommend if you can get like a spray on one or something. I know some Scenics companies do, because brushing on will just maybe cause some of it to come off. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any suggestions of other tutorials you'd like to see, then certainly leave a comment down below, whether they're building or painting, etc. I'm always open to suggestions. If there's anything that you would change about this, or you didn't like about it, or have any suggestions how I can improve this, then certainly leave a comment below. This is the first time I've ever done this sort of thing, but I'm quite happy with the effect overall. So yeah, apart from that, all what's left to say is thank you so much for watching. I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please feel free to give it a thumbs up. And you can also subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. We also have a Patreon, which is worth checking out. This video will go up early on Patreon, so our patrons get to watch quite a lot of our videos earlier than anyone else on YouTube, and you can join for just as little as $1 a month. So yeah, thanks so much again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.